Item number 8.2, revisited approval of the letter to the Shelton School District Board of Directors asking them to delay the closure of the pool at the Shelton High School until such time all options have been fully vetted and the will of the voters have been heard. Commissioner Jeffries, would you like to
I'd be happy to. So I had presented this letter to the commissioners during our last week's briefing, and it's basically asking, not directing or not trying to get into the business of the school district, but at the request of citizens in the community, looking for the city and the county to step in and see if there's an option for keeping the pool open. So we are just asking them to give us time to explore options, most specifically a special taxing district, which would, I believe, not just potentially save the pool as an amenity for the community, it would also create opportunities for us to build up our parks in the areas within the city because of the low tax base they have. They really can't build up great city parks that we need to bring our community or families back downtown, as well as build up our parks amenities in the north end, which are sorely lacking. The pool may or may not fit into a county-wide park district, but I think that we should be able to do some exploring, and I know that our parks director as well as the city parks director is anxious to do some due diligence on that issue.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I know that this was discussed at a briefing on what day?
Last Monday.
Last Monday, that I was not able to attend because of the legislature, but I did not indicate that this should be on our agenda. But that's fine. If you have two individuals that want to have it here, I'd like to comment on it later at the appropriate
absolutely.
time. So.
Okay, with that being said, is there any other questions for the Commissioner? Hearing none, we will open this up into public testimony. Would you like to testify, Mary Jean?
I like this. I like your shirt.
Yes, from Dublin. I am an O'Neill. Mary Jean Horacek, which doesn't sound very Irish. Oh well. In Shelton. I asked that the letter be revised as listed. I have a concern that one entity in the county is trying to tell another entity how to spend their money, and that is a sore subject. I don't know that the school board, when the fairgrounds was being considered to be closed by the county, wrote a letter saying our kids ride at the rodeo, so we want you to keep that open. We know you can't afford it. Come up with the money anyhow. The county had prioritized it as best the three at the time could do, and they made the decision to close the fairground. I think that it's kind of a, I don't know, it's not a threat, but I think it's very interesting that the will of the voters have been heard on one particular issue, like the pool, when in fact, as you are, the three of you are voted every 4 years to manage the county. People don't ordinarily wouldn't second guess something like that or say, well, we'd like you to hold up something until we can get new commissioners. I mean, you go along with what the current process is. I think that asking the school board, who's had a lot of angst over this particular issue, a lot of public feedback, I don't think the decision was made lightly. And I've also had the opportunity, since I've been involved with the Friends of the Pool for the past year, we're almost 2 years now, to look at the school board requirements and some of their financial issues, the mandated and unmandated requirements that are coming down from both the state and the federal on our school board. I just think that it is inappropriate for another legislative body to say, come up with $500,000 to keep the school open for a year. I also think that it's a little, knowing how difficult, well, not difficult, how arduous might be a better word, a process it was just to keep the skateboard park open. I mean, the school district owned it. As I understand it, the school district can't operate any activity unless there's an adult available, which meant that the school board would have to fund somebody sitting at the skateboard park. You know, skateboard parks are great, but it's not a mission of the school district to provide a skateboard park any more than it is really to provide a swimming pool for senior citizens to do exercise. So I would like to have from that letter removed the third paragraph that says, we will ask the board to delay closure of the pool until such time as all options have been fully vetted and the will of the voters has been heard. We anticipate the path forward will be made clear following the November general election. I find that particularly awkward. Let's just say awkward. I don't know a better word for that. I would, and I would support, and I would even volunteer to work on a commission for a metropolitan park area so that we could have a pool in Mason County. I absolutely agree that we need it, but I don't think it's the school district's responsibility to operate a swimming pool. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Commissioner?
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I have listened to a lot of people that have weighed in on this issue. I've been in Olympia. We had a request from people for actually for a request from the school board, actually. I think it was in 2014 for a capital budget appropriation for the pool. And they have since written a letter to Representative Griffey McEwen and myself rescinding that application. And I think, I didn't look through, I don't have a copy of it here, but I think I gave the copy of that letter to the other two commissioners just the other day. The capital budget is a great vehicle for funding community centers, obviously for schools, for senior centers, those types of things. But it's not a good vehicle for a Band-Aid to an aging 30-plus year facility. That being said, I think there are some options later on that I think we could explore for a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club or some facility that is larger and more suitable for today's times. The Marvin Williams Center, I worked on very hard over in Bremerton as a legislator, and we received, I think it was $3 million for that from the capital budget 2 years ago. The community raised some money, and it will be a lovely, usable center for many, many years. The community here raised money and built, with the help of Olympic College, a beautiful campus for Olympic College. That didn't take very long. We had a fundraising plan and put it together, and we raised over $1 million. So I don't think that this letter is appropriate for a couple reasons. Mary Jean makes some of the same comments I would about the paragraph there about we anticipate the path forward will be made clear following the November general election. I think that brings politics into something. It doesn't need to be in here. I think it's for my sense, it is, this letter is one board, elected board, telling another elected board what they should do. I don't think that's appropriate. I wouldn't think of it very friendly if the Port of Shelton or the Port of Hoodsport or fire district sent us a letter and said, I want you to spend a lot of money, and we haven't studied the issue. You have, and I know that the school board has paid for studies. They've spent time in meetings. They've worked and agonized over this decision. I just don't think it's our place to weigh in with this type of letter. I think it is very appropriate for us to explore call it park district, but I don't think that this is a letter that I would sign. I know it's not a letter I would sign, and I don't think we, as a commission, should send a letter. Even the idea here that we would ask the board, the school board, to appoint a representative from your members to help formulate any necessary memorandums of understanding and decision points and to communicate progress to the full board. I don't think that's appropriate. Well, we're asking them to appoint someone to come up with some memorandums of agreements. I just don't think that's appropriate. We did sign here, and Tom, you were telling us we better do this real quick, and we did it pretty quickly. When we finally got down to it, this memorandum of understanding for the skate park, which I appreciate, everybody signed that. Started the signatures on February 24th, and we finished on the 10th of March, so that took about 2 weeks when we finally got to the insurance issues and that. I don't think that's a model for the pool. I think this is a big issue, and that the school board is the proper venue for the discussion and for the controversy, which unfortunately has gotten bitter at times. But I think there's some things we can work as a community to get out of this and find a solution that works for everyone. But I just would not sign this letter and would recommend that the board not send a letter.
I'll go ahead and go next on this. First of all, I don't ever like the idea of telling any board what to do. That's a sovereign board. I say it over and over again. And for the most part, I don't think this one does. I do have an issue with the paragraph that you mentioned. I have a position on that I'd like to float. But aside from that, I also want to point out, I'm not sure that the Parks District is going to be effective anyway. I really don't think it would help in this situation because you'd have to funnel all the money from the whole county in order to do one pool on a different location. But that being said, I did, as a commissioner, I have made efforts to try and help some of the citizens in the community find a way to make these types of things happen, to keep the pool open. One of the things I found was in talking to some of the school board members, some of them have no intentions on doing that, no matter whether the money shows up or not, and that's a real reality. But at the same time, with the idea of working together and understanding that I don't know all the answers, I don't have all the answers, and Commissioner Jeffries is the one representing that district. And so if she believes that she has an option or an idea that we need more time in order to look over and to vet, I think it's our responsibility to empower that person from that district to help them do it, as long as we don't step on the toes of others. So with that being said, I am supportive of it, but I'm supportive of it with the removal of one part of the letter. I would like to make a recommendation that we ask the board to delay closure of the pool until such time as options have been fully vetted, period. Striking all the rest of that paragraph. Because I do think I think it has been properly characterized as a threat to the board by saying, we're talking about seeing how it works out after the general election. So I am in favor of it with the removal of that portion.
I don't see this as directing any board to do anything. It's a request. Requests are not orders. They're requests, and that's exactly what this is. So I don't understand that objection. The language around the November election was to assume that if there was to be something to go before the voters, it would be probably in November, and I just wanted to provide a timeline. I'm perfectly fine with taking that line out. If I were a board of superintendents or of the directors of the school, I would wonder, well, for how long? And so I just wanted to provide some kind of timeline so that there would be some sort of certainty in people's minds about when will this be finalized as far as the decision. The paragraph asking them to appoint a representative was at the recommendation of the interim superintendent. And so that's why that line is in there. It's not a direction. Again, it's having an opportunity to have a back and forth communication stream and line there. I am okay with striking that sentence in the third paragraph, or ending the sentence after the word vetted. I'm a little bit surprised that people would think it would be more prudent to destroy a building, a current facility, in order to build a new one someplace else, when we do have the facility now that estimated to need about $2.8 million of improvements. I guarantee you a new pool will cost a heck of a lot more than $2.8 million. The idea is not to put that cost onto the school. If there were a Metropolitan Park District, it would be a revenue source to make the improvements to that pool that are required. So I'm still willing to work with the community. I appreciate Commissioner Netherland's support for at least signing this letter, and I'm assuming going with that is the blessing to go ahead and continue to work with the school district should they be willing. So, Mr. Chair, I would move that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, we do have.
Go ahead, make a motion.
have-
Oh, is there anybody else in the public who would like to testify? We'll double check that. You already testified. I'm sorry. Reggie, I'm sorry.
But, Mr. Chairman, I think it is appropriate, certainly, to take out that sentence. We anticipate the path forward will be made clear following the November general election. Because I think the public can read that a couple different ways. Commissioner Jeffries, you read it one way. I might read it as a politician that, well, let me look at the terms of the school board. There's 5 members of the school board, and 4 will be up for election in November. So you could read that a different way.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Now, the other thing that you just mentioned about 2.8 million and some costs and things, that I think is for the school board to decide. And it's easy to kind of second guess boards and commissions that have huge responsibility. There's 3,000 kids, aren't there, in the Shelton School District? Very large. And the school board members have work sessions, meetings. There's 5 of them. They can meet individually with the staff. I know that they take this job very, very seriously. And I think this smacks of second-guessing elected officials who do not have a salary. They're volunteers, basically. They're working very, very hard to do what's best for the students. And I think we should let them do their job. And I would not sign a letter. I think we can talk to them individually, which is great. We can work with them. As a legislator, I want to work with them on what capital needs they have. And I think we can work through it, but I think it's just putting our nose in their business is not appropriate in this way, especially in a written form and an official letter from the commission. And I'm not going to sign it, no matter what you guys vote, but it still will be an official letter from the commission. And I just don't think we should weigh in that way with another board. This would also set a precedent, I think, for other decisions that maybe the Port of Tahuya makes. Who knows? Maybe they want to buy a piece of DNR land and some of the citizens object to it, or there's some controversy out in Hoodsport. I just don't know that we should be the try to weigh in on all those issues. And so enough said.
And I appreciate that. Before we make a motion, I'd like to add something. There's another, just as there was a different way of reading that line, there's another way of looking at the letter, and this is how I view the letter.
Sure.
They've been in a situation where they've been through a pretty, up and down time trying to deal with this, and I understand that the weight that they have. The one thing I do know is when I had contacted and I had talked to individuals, is that was just Randy contacted them. When Commissioner Jeffries contacted those individuals, that was just Commissioner Jeffries contacting those individuals. The way I view this is us officially saying that we are open-minded and interested in helping if we can officially as a board. And so, if they are interested, that we'd like to keep the options open. If they're not interested, it isn't going to do anything or go anywhere, because again, I don't think we're trying to force the matter. I think we're letting them know that we are there, and we are hopeful in trying to find a way to come to their aid in some way. Not knowing that we can do it fully, because I don't think we can, but how much can we help? How much would that little bit be the difference that makes a difference on whether they can keep it open or not? The only way they'd know that is if they officially have an open channel with us to talk about it, and up to this time we haven't. Commissioner, you have another comment, or would you like to make a motion?
No, I appreciate what you have to say, and it could very well be that this will fall on deaf ears. But I'd like to, at the least, offer our help and our options, should they be willing to accept it. So with that, Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the letter to the Shelton School District Board of Directors asking them to delay closure of the pool at the Shelton High School. And I'll stop right there. So we will, the amended letter. Should I first make a motion to amend the letter?
Can I ask what
You can make that part of your motion. I think that's fine. Is making it part of your motion.
And to amend the letter, paragraph 3, to strike all words after the word vetted.
So, just a question, so you're gonna take that, you're gonna cut that paragraph, and the sentence will say, "We ask the board to delay closure of the pool until a time all options have been fully vetted."
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
All options with us is how I view that, Commissioner.
Well,
And other things we can help with.
The only thing I can read is what you said. I think this sentence would now read, "We ask the board to delay closure of the pool until such a time all options have been fully vetted," period.
Do you have a better solution before I second this?
I think you should not, I think that doesn't make sense, that sentence.
Any suggestions before?
No, I'm not gonna sign a letter. You
That's
can write it.
I
You can write it,
No.
but when you say before all options have been fully vetted, that's not a date, that's not certain.
Okay.
That, to me, it's just kind of a hi, we're here and we're gonna watch over you.
Okay.
So,
And I will second the motion. Is there any further discussion? Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays?
I'm a nay.
Okay. The motion carries.